Man, let me save you from a few bad purchases. The PS5 has been out for a while now, and yeah, there are tons of games, but not all of them deserve your time or your money. I've played dozens of them, and today I'm going to show you 19 games that are truly flawless. These aren't just pretty cool or fun for a weekend. These are the games you'll remember for years, the ones that make you think, this is why I bought a PS5. Let's get into the list. 1. Metaphor ReFantazio. Kicking off this perfect list is a game that just oozes style and narrative ambition. Metaphor ReFantazio. Look, I'm a huge fan of the Persona crew, and this game takes that incredible style and emotional depth and transplants it into a massive, gorgeous fantasy world. The reason this game hits a 10 out of 10 for me is the seamless blend of social simulation and deep JRPG combat. You're building relationships with your companions and managing your calendar, but then you're instantly diving into stylish, complex turn-based combat with the unique archetype system. That continuous sense of progression, both personal and mechanical, is addictive. What I didn't love initially was how slow the dungeon traversal felt compared to the speedy combat transitions. But once you unlock the main movement abilities, that minor issue vanishes. The soundtrack and art direction are pure genius. It's an investment in over 100 hours of pure, stylish role-playing that will completely consume you. Number 2, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. All right, let's talk about a game that is an absolute technical and artistic spectacle. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Hideo Kojima delivered a sequel that doubles down on the unique logistic simulation and the unparalleled production value that the PS5 was built for. For me, the 10 out of 10 comes from the level of immersion and tactile feedback. The DualSense haptics and the 3D audio make you feel the weight of Sam Porter Bridges' steps and the texture of the terrain. The visuals are so high fidelity, it's often indistinguishable from a movie. This is systemic design married to storytelling. My biggest complaint from the original, the early game slowness, seems to be completely addressed here with new traversal mechanics and far more dynamic environmental threats. The infrastructure loop is even more refined, making you desperate to build roads and zip lines for the entire community. You will remember the narrative, you will remember the atmosphere, and you will remember the incredible feeling of completing a complex delivery in a hostile world. It's an investment in a truly unique, high-concept, single-player epic. Three. Hell is Us. Changing gears entirely, we have a game that absolutely deserves the 10/10 rating for its bold artistic vision and commitment to atmosphere. Hell is Us. This is a dark, complex action-adventure that challenges the player intellectually and mechanically. The core value is the unsettling atmosphere and profound mystery. The game dumps you into a modern, war-torn setting where psychological trauma manifests as grotesque, terrifying creatures. It's an investment in a narrative that demands interpretation. There's no hand-holding or exposition dumps. What I found brilliant but initially frustrating was the deliberate, high-impact combat system. It forces you to master specific parry and counter windows, making every encounter with these monstrous entities genuinely dangerous. It's a game that respects both the player's time and skill. My personal experience was being absolutely captivated by the environmental storytelling and the unique monster designs. Hell is Us is a must-play because it's a brilliant, focused piece of mature storytelling that uses its mechanics and world to deliver an unforgettable, deep psychological experience. Four, Spider-Man 2. Rounding out this perfect block, we have the game that perfected the superhero power fantasy, Spider-Man 2. Insomniac Games delivered a 10 out of 10 experience by mastering kinetic traversal and delivering a massive, high-stakes narrative. The core value is the unparalleled feeling of movement.
Combining the web-swinging flow with the new web wings makes crossing Manhattan the most fun activity in gaming. The sheer speed and fluidity, flawlessly maintained by the PS5's SSD, is worth the price of admission alone. The combat system is pure satisfaction, seamlessly switching between Peter's symbiote powers and Miles' electric abilities creates an incredible mechanical sandbox. The DualSense haptics make every web shot and punch feel physical. Honestly, the only minor flaw is that the open-world activities, while numerous, can feel a little repetitive after 80 hours. But who cares when the moment-to-moment gameplay is this good? Spider-Man 2 is a flawless investment because it delivers technical excellence, cinematic storytelling, and the most addictive traversal system in gaming history.
Next up, we're heading back in time for a game that just oozes cinematic atmosphere and historical fidelity, Mafia: The Old Country. This game is an investment in pure, dramatic, focused storytelling that the PS5 was born to render. The reason I'm giving this a perfect score is the unmatched attention to detail in the setting. The developers meticulously recreated a sprawling, historic Italian landscape, making the environment the perfect backdrop for a brutal crime drama. It's a gorgeous piece of environmental storytelling. The core value is the narrative. It's a tight, focused storyline that respects its source material and delivers powerful character development. My only slight critique is that because it prioritizes the story so much, it feels more linear than a typical open-world sandbox. But honestly, that focus is what makes the narrative so strong. I personally live for games that transport me, and the third-person action here is heavy and satisfying. Mafia: The Old Country is a flawless investment because it delivers A-tier cinematic quality and a deeply engrossing high-stakes story that you'll remember long after the credits roll.
Six, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. Changing pace completely, we have a game that is a phenomenal investment in narrative tension and mechanical innovation. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, this game is a unique RPG that absolutely justifies its perfect score through ambition. The core value is the insane high-stakes premise. The world is ending because a monstrous paintress resets humanity's age every 33 years. You are the last expedition sent to stop her. That narrative urgency immediately hooks you and creates massive emotional weight. Mechanically, I love the blend of turn-based combat with active input. You have to use rhythmic button presses and precise timing to boost damage or land a crucial block, making the traditional Persona-style combat feel incredibly engaging and skill-based. My honest take? That relentless premise makes the game incredibly stressful sometimes, but that stress is intentional and contributes to the experience. Clair Obscur is a flawless investment because it delivers a bold artistic vision, beautiful graphics, and a truly innovative combat system that keeps you on the edge of your seat. 7. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Alright, let's talk about a game that is a perfect score based on an all-time classic, rebuilt for modern consoles. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. This remake is the ultimate investment in stealth immersion and one of the best stories ever told. The core value is the unmatched survival and stealth mechanics. You are dropped into a dense jungle and you have to manage your camouflage, hunt animals for food, and use primitive medical skills to heal deep wounds. That immersion loop is legendary. The PS5's technical fidelity ensures the environment is visually stunning, making the camo system feel more realistic than ever. The biggest improvement for me is the modern control scheme, making the traversal and shooting feel fluid while preserving the original mechanical depth. What I sometimes struggled with in the original was the constant menu diving for curing wounds, but the remake streamlines that pain into a fantastic tactile experience. Snake Eater is a flawless investment because it delivers an unforgettable Cold War espionage narrative with cutting-edge visual fidelity and the definitive stealth gameplay experience.
Horizontally left or right.
8. Persona 5 Royal. Rounding out this block, we have a game that is the definitive investment in style, content, and deep simulation, Persona 5 Royal. This JRPG is a perfect 10 out of 10 because it masters every single element it attempts. The core value is the addictive time management loop and the social simulation. Juggling your life as a high school student, studying, making friends, and managing relationships, with your life as a phantom thief in the metaverse is brilliantly executed. That rhythm is why you lose hundreds of hours. The combat system is turn-based perfection, focusing on exploiting weaknesses and the insanely stylish all-out attacks. The UI and visual presentation are unmatched. The game oozes style and visual flair in every menu and transition. My one honest critique: trying to hit 100% completion is brutal, requiring incredibly strict adherence to a calendar, which can be stressful. But even with that, P5R is a flawless investment because it delivers phenomenal narrative depth, visual genius, and a massive volume of high-quality, stylish content. 9. Split Fiction. Moving on, we have a perfect 10 out of 10 game that excels in high-concept narrative and unique co-op design, Split Fiction. This game is an investment in a brilliant, ambitious storytelling structure. The core value here is the simultaneous dual narrative, where two players experience two separate but interconnected parallel worlds. This split-screen storytelling mechanic is a technical marvel and provides massive replay value because you have to play both sides to understand the full plot. The gameplay loop is constantly evolving, mixing puzzles, platforming, and combat that forces asynchronous cooperation. What one player does in their world affects the other's environment. Honestly, the only thing that holds this game back slightly is if you don't have a reliable co-op partner, because the single-player experience doesn't capture the full scope. I personally love the visual distinction between the two worlds. It's a masterclass in artistic and mechanical synchronization. Split Fiction is a flawless investment because it delivers a sophisticated, unforgettable narrative experience that sets a new bar for how we consume stories in games. Next up, we have a game that is the definitive technical showpiece for the PS5, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. This title is a flawless investment in pure visual genius and mechanical fun. The core value is the instantaneous dimension hopping. Insomniac uses the PS5's SSD power to seamlessly load massive, complex environments in the blink of an eye. That mechanical spectacle, jumping from a futuristic city to a prehistoric jungle instantly, is why the game is worth every penny. The gameplay loop is classic, but perfected. Platforming mixed with a ridiculous weapon sandbox. Every single gun is creative and fun to use, encouraging you to constantly experiment and upgrade your arsenal. My biggest critique is that it's a bit on the short side compared to some massive open-world titles, but every second of its runtime is pure, polished quality. I was obsessed with the DualSense integration, feeling the two-stage trigger pulls on the different weapons. Rift Apart is a perfect investment in PS5 technical performance and unadulterated, imaginative fun. 11. Returnal. Let's talk about a game that is a perfect 10 out of 10 investment in skill-based longevity and high-stakes atmosphere. Returnal. Housemarque delivered a masterpiece that fuses tight third-person shooting with the brutal philosophy of a roguelike. The core value is the unforgiving loop and the learning curve. Every time you die, the environment of Atropos shifts, forcing you to master the bullet hell combat and adapt your strategy. That skill-based progression is why you pour hundreds of hours into it. The payoff of conquering a biome is huge. The technical immersion is total. The DualSense haptics make the rain, your footsteps, and the various weapon effects feel incredibly real. The 3D audio system is essential, letting you pinpoint enemies based on sound. My honest opinion, the difficulty is brutal.
It can be frustrating, but that high barrier to entry is what makes the mastery so rewarding. Returnal is a flawless investment because it delivers next-gen technical immersion, addictive, fast-paced action, and unlimited replay value for the dedicated player.
12. Ghost of Yōtei. Wrapping up this flawless block, we have a game that is a must-have investment in unmatched artistic vision and refined combat. Ghost of Yōtei. Sucker Punch delivered an open-world experience that is both grand in scale and deeply personal. The main value here is the perfect aesthetic and total immersion. The new feudal Japan setting is absolutely stunning, using the full power of the PS5 to create richly detailed environments and an incredible cinematic presentation. The guiding wind system returns, ensuring that exploration never feels like a checklist, but instead a meditative journey. Combat is where the addiction kicks in. It's an evolution of the stance and parry system, making every sword duel feel weighty, technical, and entirely skill-based. Mastering the balance between samurai honor and ghost tactics gives you a constant feeling of mechanical progression. And what I loved in the original, and loved even more here, is the minimalist UI-free design that pulls you completely into the world. Ghost of Yōtei is a perfect investment because it delivers atmosphere, storytelling, and simply masterful melee combat.
13. Alan Wake 2. Moving on, we have a game that is an essential investment in narrative genius and visual horror, Alan Wake 2. Remedy delivered a masterpiece that is constantly pushing the limits of what a third-person survival horror can be. The core value here is the structural brilliance. The game flawlessly blends Saga Anderson's police procedural investigation with Alan Wake's terrifying, shifting reality in The Dark Place. The technical fidelity of the lighting is crucial. It's what makes the darkness and the taken enemies so utterly frightening. The gameplay loop is split between tense resource management and puzzle solving with Saga, and using light to literally rewrite the world with Alan. Honestly, I know some pure action fans found the slow pace of the puzzle sections a little tough, but that deliberate pacing is what builds the incredible horror tension. I was obsessed with the mind place mechanic and the use of live action video. It's brilliant, risky, mixed media design. Alan Wake 2 is a flawless investment because it delivers a sophisticated, visually stunning, and profound psychological horror experience.
14. Astro Bot. Next up is a game that is a perfect 10 out of 10 investment in pure joy and technical innovation, Astro Bot. This title is not just a game, it's the definitive showcase of the PS5's unique capabilities and an instant classic platformer. The core value is the DualSense integration. Every single interaction, Astro walking on glass, climbing through mud, or using a grappling hook, is felt with unparalleled tactile fidelity. The game makes the PS5's controller feel like a piece of magic technology. The gameplay loop is simply fun. It's a colorful, imaginative 3D platformer packed with incredible level design and endless secrets that reward curiosity. Finding all the hidden PlayStation history references and rescuing the other bots is a massive addiction. My biggest complaint is that I wish it was longer, but honestly, its density and creativity make every minute feel worthwhile. Astro Bot is a flawless investment because it delivers unadulterated fun, mechanical genius, and sets the bar for PS5 technical immersion.
15. Stellar Blade. Let's talk about a game that is an essential investment in blistering, stylish action and high visual polish, Stellar Blade. Shift Up delivered a gorgeous world with some of the most satisfyingly tight action combat we've seen on the console. The core value is the hyperkinetic combat system. It focuses heavily on parry timing, dodging, and chaining complex skill attacks with your beta and burst abilities. The skill ceiling is high, and the feeling of mastering a boss fight through precise input is huge. The visual aesthetic is why the game is so talked about. The sci-fi world and the character design are rendered with extreme technical fidelity. While some people were focused on the visuals, the real value is how smooth that action runs. My honest take, sometimes the story and dialogue felt a little secondary to the incredible action, but when the gameplay flow is this good, you just don't care. Stellar Blade is an absurdly good investment because it delivers a phenomenal, rewarding action experience and best-in-class mechanical speed.
16. Baldur's Gate 3. Rounding out this perfect block, we have the game that is the ultimate investment in longevity, freedom, and narrative consequence, Baldur's Gate 3. This title is a flawless, generation-defining D&D RPG that demands your time. The core value is the unmatched player agency. Lorien builds a world where every single interaction and dialogue choice has real, lasting consequences. That narrative reactivity makes the game endlessly replayable, offering hundreds of hours of unique content. The combat system is the addiction loop. It's a complex, tactical turn-based system based on D&D 5e. The build variety, multi-classing, spell choices, gear combinations is immense, rewarding players who truly dive into the mechanics. I remember the sheer excitement of discovering a ridiculous solution to a problem that Lorien somehow accounted for. My only initial critique was the sheer volume and complexity was overwhelming, but once you start, you can't stop. Baldur's Gate 3 is a flawless investment because it sets the bar for RPG freedom and meaningful storytelling.
"17. Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2. Moving into the final three, we have a game that is the definitive, absurdly good investment in historical realism and deep RPG simulation, Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2. This title offers a level of immersion you won't find anywhere else. The core value here is the unwavering commitment to historical fidelity. You're not a hero, you're Henry, and you have to struggle to learn skills, maintain reputation, and master the incredibly complex HEMA-based combat system. That commitment to realism is priceless. The narrative depth and nonlinearity are massive. Your choices about bathing, clothing, and even stealing have real, lasting consequences on the world. The systemic complexity guarantees endless replay value and unique outcomes. My honest take? This game can be frustratingly hard and slow at first because it won't hold your hand, but that high barrier to entry is what makes the mastery so rewarding. Deliverance 2 is a flawless investment because it's a profound, detailed single-player RPG that rewards patience and dedication.
18. Ready or Not. Next up, we have a game that is a perfect 10 out of 10 investment in intense tactical realism and high-stakes consequence, Ready or Not on PS5. This is the ultimate SWAT simulator that will absolutely test your nerve and teamwork. The core value is the uncompromising tactical gameplay. This isn't an arcade shooter, it's a slow, methodical experience focused on communication, proper room clearing procedures, and non-lethal apprehension. The AI systems are brilliant, making every single door a dangerous, high-stakes moment. The immersion and stress are immediate. The sound design is crucial. Hearing a suspect shift weight behind a door or a distant shout builds unbearable tension. The consequence system is brutal. One mistake can end your entire mission. I personally love the intense focus on team coordination and the sheer satisfaction of clearing a complex building perfectly. My critique is that its slow pace isn't for everyone, but for those who love realism, it's flawless. Ready or Not is an absurdly good investment because it delivers a unique, high-fidelity tactical simulation unmatched on consoles. 19. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And finally, we wrap up this perfect list with a game that is an essential and absolutely insane investment in cinematic adventure and pure fun, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Machine Games delivered the definitive Indiana Jones experience, fully taking advantage of the PS5's power to create pure spectacle. The core value lies in the perfect blend of first-person action, exploration, and puzzle solving. The whip mechanic is the big highlight, not only for combat, but also for traversal, puzzles, and even disarming enemies. That mechanical versatility is simply fantastic. The visual fidelity and cinematic storytelling are huge selling points. Bethesda and Machine Games are masters of environmental storytelling, and the adventure, which takes Indy around the world in search of a mysterious power, delivers non-stop, high-stakes action. I personally loved how they integrate first-person melee combat with puzzle design inside ancient ruins. The Great Circle is a flawless investment because it's an exciting, beautiful, and mechanically rich adventure that fully captures the spirit of cinema.
So there you have it, guys. 19 perfect 10 out of 10 PS5 games worth every penny. From the pure emotional narrative of Alan Wake 2 and The Last of Us Part 2, to the supreme mechanical mastery of Baldur's Gate 3 and Returnal, these titles are the reason we love gaming. Which game on this list do you think is truly flawless? And what 10 out of 10 masterpiece did I miss? Let me know in the comments below.